There can only be one, the one who will be many. Of all the giant monsters we've seen on film, only one takes the throne as the scariest we've ever seen. The creepiest thing about it is, we haven't even seen its final form, truly. I love giant monsters way more than I should. Some would say I even have a fetish for kaiju. If you were to ask me, my last day on Earth, would I rather see a kaiju summon itself from the earth or spend a night with Ana de Armas? I'm not an idiot, so I'm going to pick Ana de Armas, but I'm telling you the option. It'd be a very close call. That's how much I love kaiju. I'm going to say this right now. Powerful does not equal the scariest. The scariest kaiju sometimes isn't even the biggest. It's not the strongest. It's just the most deadly, the most detached, the most vacant in the eyes. It's something like that. But we're going to get to it. So who really is the scariest mofo in all the kaiju in modern movie history? Have you guys seen a movie called Star Trek, the 2009 reboot? I'm a fan, yes. I know those movies get a lot of shit, but I low-key like them. I think they're bangers. But the first movie, James T. Kirk gets marooned to an Arctic planet by Spock. And in this Arctic planet, he's confronted by this thing, this red being whose mouth opens up like this. And I'm going to tell you right now, when I saw this, this is one of the best designed monsters that gets limited screen time I've ever seen in my life. Nobody ever brings this creature up when they talk about movie monsters. I am right now. This is one of the coolest kaiju. I don't know if you can classify it as one because it's not that big, but it is one of the coolest giant monsters I've ever seen in my life. All right? You need to put it on the list. Cloverfield. Now, the scariest part about Clover, besides his iconic design, which has literally influenced many aliens, by the way, Quiet Place, the Mutos and Godzilla, many more. The scariest thing about him is we haven't seen, this is like a baby. This is an infant. A fully grown Clover reaches above the clouds. It's massive. It's huge. It's a literal cosmic threat. I'm really sad that we haven't seen one of these creatures in their full glory yet. We need that Cloverfield sequel now, J.J. Abrams. Stop being a little wuss and do it. The amphibian creature from The Host. This creature, I think it was like a lizard slash fish that got mutated and irradiated by some kind of pollution, turned into an absolute being. Turned it into an absolute monster. Came out of the ocean and started swallowing people whole. It has one of the coolest designs. It's very similar to the Star Trek creature. It has one of the coolest designs I've seen in movie history. I love this monster. It's just pure terrifying. It's not a superhero. It's not like Godzilla, Kong, who we're vigilantes now. We're going to save humanity. No. It's simply, I'm going to eat all of you. Probably my favorite kaiju movie ever, and I know a lot of purist fans will hate me for this, Pacific Rim. Pacific Rim, listen, I love Pacific Rim. I think a movie's almost flawless, okay? But Otachi, the reptilian kaiju that comes out of the ocean and starts laying waste to most of the Jaegers. This guy is one of the most OP kaiju in this because he might not be the biggest, but when he latches onto you with his tail that goes like, and then it grows its wings and takes you up into the air and tries to drop you down. This is a multi-layered being with different abilities. This is a terrifying kaiju. It basically walks like Cloverfield, but has wings like Ghidorah. And it has a tail like a freaking xenomorph. And I'm pretty sure it has acid blood as well. It can spray acid from its goddamn tail. It's got everything you need in a kaiju if you want to use a bioweapon to destroy a city. Now, I don't like Pacific Rim 2. I think that movie's garbage. But the MEGAKAIJU at the end, the behemoth that basically all 3 or 4 kaiju form into one, this thing is one of the most powerful kaiju on the list. Not the scariest, but is ultra powerful. Why? It's scary because it takes on like 4 Jaeger at the same time and beats all their asses without even trying. What it takes to kill this dude is he's on top of Mount Fuji, ready to lay waste to the entire city, to the entire world. If he nukes Mount Fuji, the world is destroyed because of all the ash going into the atmosphere and all that shit, right? What it takes to kill him is a Jaeger dropping from orbit onto him and nuking him in the chest. That's what it takes. I'm surprised that itself didn't detonate Mount Fuji. King Ghidorah from Godzilla, King of Monsters. King Ghidorah is a freaking alien that came from space to take the place of Godzilla as the alpha in the monster hierarchy. He doesn't fit the natural order of things. He's not a part of this food chain. He's a false god who just came down to wreak havoc anyways. He's basically like the Bane to Godzilla's Batman. That's what's so terrifying about him. He's extraterrestrial in nature. We don't actually understand him. But yet, he's able to control all the monsters with a single roar. And he's got lightning abilities. But he's not the scariest version of Ghidorah on this list. Not even close. My boy! My personal favorite. The Kraken from Clash of the Titans. The gods fear this man. The gods fear him because they created him. Hades birthed this being to beat the Titans. And he did. He beat the Titans' asses. Kronos, Atlas, Hyperion, Rhea. Imagine elemental Titan beings getting their asses beat by this man. How powerful does a creature have to be? Zeus himself fears it. Zeus himself tells Hades constantly, don't let this dude out unless I say so, because if you do, we're screwed. Humanity will die. All our power of worship will be gone. That's what the Kraken does. I swear, man, legendary Godzilla would struggle in a fight with this man. I know Godzilla fans hate me for saying it. I know they love their Mary Sue. I'm telling you, and I'm going to give Godzilla his credit. But legendary Godzilla, he don't belong in the list with the rest of these mofos, alright? There are other versions of Godzilla that'll be on him. But Kraken needs some love. Give him some love. I made a whole video on the Kraken. Check it out. Orga from Godzilla 2000. Imagine an alien who looks like this. This stingray-looking biomass grabs a hold of some of Godzilla's DNA and turns into an absolute being, an absolute menace. And this is one of the scariest shots I've ever seen as a child. Godzilla, essentially, because he cannot beat Orga head-on, because Orga regenerates, he has more regeneration abilities than Godzilla, he allows Orga to swallow him whole so he can blow him up from the inside with his atomic breath. Smart move! This is disgusting. The fact that Orga can do this, and the fact that he's alien. This is another issue with these aliens. You don't know much about them. They don't fit the natural order of things. And Orga's design is terrifying. Who the hell wants to be in a room with this man? Or in a city with this man? Or on the same planet as this man? No way in a freaking hell. Cthulhu from underwater. Now, this Cthulhu is not the god Cthulhu that everyone knows. He's not the full-on Lovecraftian outer god with the powers to destroy everything. No. He's more of a kaiju in this, a giant monster. And he is terrifying in the limited screen time he has. Why? Because most of the screen time in the movie is filled with his underlings, these monsters that try to swallow humans whole, just like Orga did. And imagine, they all work and serve this guy. All these creatures literally nest and sleep on one of his tentacles. And when you see how big this dude is, and he just stares into the eyes of Kristen Bell, or Kristen Stewart, as she's about to nuke the place from orbit, terrifying. He was so scary in this movie, they had to nerf him. The real Cthulhu would destroy everything. Watch my video on this, by the way. I made a whole video discussing this. Octoliths, I think, from Deep Rising. Imagine a Kraken-like octopus kaiju, looking like this, but his tentacles, each of them have their own sentience. They're like Dr. Octopus's tentacles. Each of them comes at you with their own mind. It's like a hive mind collective with each which passes sentience onto each tentacle. He can nest underwater and on land. He doesn't need water to breathe. That's what's so terrifying about him. He can kill you. He can put corrosive acid on you. I don't like beings that have tentacles that can just come at you from any corner. And that's the kind of animal this is. And if you are scared of the water, he's a problem. Because he is the worst nightmare for anyone. If you are afraid of creepy crawlies, tentacles, slimy things, and anything that's big in the water, he's got all those things jam-packed into one. He's one of the most terrifying kaiju I've ever seen in my life. Godzilla -1. Why? He doesn't give a fuck. He's not legendary. Legendary Godzilla, ooh, let's play with the humans. I'm gonna save them. We're gonna be the Avengers now. No. Hell no. He comes to cities to molest humans. The scariest thing about Godzilla -1, in my opinion, is not how angry and unhinged he is. It's his atomic breath. Because unlike the atomic breath we see like in Legendary, which is like just a single blast, right? This thing is like a nuclear bomb of its own. He shoots it, poof, mushroom cloud, everything evaporates. That's a G right there. He's one of the most terrifying kaiju of all. Godzilla -1 is... You could argue that it is the best kaiju movie, but Pacific Rim is still my pick. Godzilla Earth! The one that looks all other Godzilla look like children. He is the natural end point of evolution. He evolved from a goddamn tree, for God's sakes. A piece of bark! He turned into this. Eradicated most of the goddamn humans on the planet. It takes a cosmic force to fight this man. And even then, no nuke is going to stop him. Nothing. And he extends his essence across the world. Land masses that are on Earth are a part of him, are a part of his DNA. He knows where you are. He's that powerful. But his ultimate nemesis might be the second scariest creature on this list. Void Ghidorah. I don't even know if he's allowed to be on this list because he's more of a cosmic eldritch god. He's more like Galactus than a kaiju. He eats planets. He shatters planets. He can manipulate space-time, interdimensional and interstellar space travel. There's not much you can do against this man. Godzilla Earth struggles against this being because this being is not a monster. He's not a giant monster. He's a literal cosmic god. He's like the Phoenix Force. He can destroy entire planets by just like encroaching itself upon him. And he almost would have nuked the Earth. Humans, there's a bunch of humans and there's a whole bunch of lore surrounding this where they helped Godzilla Earth not even kill him, but like stop, like kind of mitigate his ability to enter our realm, right? This dude is unstoppable. He's like he represents our fear of what lies on the other side of the cosmos. That's what he is. He represents our fear of this cosmic force that could just obliterate the Earth one day, like a supernova. That's what he is. That's what's so terrifying. He represents existential dread of existence, taking into account how small the Earth is in comparison to its surroundings. That's what he is as a being. All right, but he ain't the scariest on this list because, in my opinion, the scariest thing doesn't come from out there. Scariest thing is one we make and one that never stops making death upon us. Two things about Shin Godzilla. He adapts to anything, so we're screwed in a fight against him. He's utterly detached, no emotion. He responds. He just responds. He's not like legendary Godzilla or Godzilla -1 who are angry or happy. No, none of that bullshit. He just is. And the scariest part about him is he has multiple forms, right? He evolves from one grotesque form to the other. Every form is more powerful because he's able to adapt. He adapts. You can't do anything to him. But when the humans finally do, they're able to put a blood coagulant in him that freezes him completely. And we see what his final form was going to become. His final form, this is his goddamn tail. Look at this shit. This is his freaking tail. If we hadn't frozen him shut, which I don't even know how long Shin Godzilla would freeze for, because his cells would start adapting at some point, I would assume. This is his tail. Basically what was happening here was his fifth form was about to be released. He had 4 forms. His fifth form was he would turn himself into humanoid Godzilla creatures that would attack humanity. So instead of attacking humanity head on, as one giant monster, he would adapt to us because we were attacking him on all fronts in the final act of Shin Godzilla. He would turn into multiple humanoids and just kill us. This is the most terrifying kaiju I've ever seen. The fact that he can adapt and his body is so smart to what's happening to its surroundings. It can adapt to any threat. He was about to turn himself into these things, and they would come destroy us like velociraptors, and then they would probably all form into one Shin Godzilla again. Look at this disgusting thing. Imagine this coming out of Godzilla and coming at you. Hell no. This is like Calvin and the Thing put together. Because I don't only think those Godzilla creatures would kill us, I think they would assimilate us too. Because the fact that if he can adapt by creating more of him, what's to say those little beings won't adapt by creating more of themselves through us? He'd basically be like Calvin and the Thing put together. The worst case scenario for Earth. That's Endgame. If Calvin and the Thing were put together, Calvin's strong durability versus Thing's assimilation powers, it's over. It's literally over. That's how it is, y'all. That's what would happen to us. We'd get demolished badly. If you want to know why the Kraken would beat Godzilla in a fight, watch this video here. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on a mission to take over Hollywood. If you want to suggest video topics to me, or talk about your favorite movie theories with like-minded individuals in a community geared towards changing storytelling itself, join the free Discord now. The link is in the description below and probably in the comment section too. Join the Discord now. We're taking over Hollywood one Coke line at a time. See you on the other side.